Hello and welcome back to, animated Asterix stuff. If I recall correctly, we already knew by the time we were recording The Secret of a Magic Potion, but Netflix, in one of its rare, we're trying to do something good moment, financed a small miniseries that tries to make a new adaptation of Asterix and the Big Fight. The one movie from the 80s that I personally, very personally, still detest because they tried to combine stuff with Asterix and the Soothsayer instead, and the end result was a complete mess, at least to me. But instead, this one tries to be a bit more accurate to the original book, which was kind of a Tour de France with, visiting other Gaul villages, so to speak. I have yet to see this in full form, but again, it's a fairly short series with only 5 episodes, so yeah, it's pretty digestible and easy to go. Perfect for everyone who binges stuff on Netflix because again, it really is compact size.
I wonder if at some point after this, Netflix will decide, hey, what's that other movie that people are testy about? The Gladiator? All right, let's redo that one as well.
I wonder. This series has been released in bulk on April 30, 2025, so almost a year ago by the time we're recording this. And nothing new has been, told yet. And Netflix does have a tendency of not renewing their contracts all of a sudden. But again,
Uh,
only time will tell on that matter. For now, let's get properly onto episode one. Which, these ones, if I recall correctly, do not have fancy titles, so it's just episode one in this case. So start your copy at the classic Netflix logo, the Toton classic with the N, in three, two, one, click.
regarding
Episode
this
1, the Asterixing.
Regarding the status of this, Netflix does list this as a limited series, so that means if we do get another thing like this, it'll be counted as its own
It's
series,
worth noting that
basically.
it was produced mostly, almost completely in France, home country of Asterix and all. So Netflix was just footing the bill and allowing international release. So one positive that I can say immediately, the animation. It's very stylized, even more so than the one of the CGI animated movies. Apparently,
Hmm.
Wikipedia tells me that they specifically tried to replicate the style that Goscinny and others were used in the 60s and 70s.
I wonder if all these voice casts, both for French and English dialogue, are new, or if they brought back
That
some of
I
the
do not know. When it comes
familiars.
to English dub for answering stuff is always a coin toss. In terms of returning people. Also, some bizarre special effects for representing the magic potion. It's like I'm watching Hotline Miami.
Okay.
No, Obelix.
Sorry, Obelix. If we gave you the potion, that could lead to certain doom.
There is
I'm gonna
actually
get a heart attack.
There is one story that showcases what happens if Obelix actually gets more potion. I don't remember if I mentioned already. He turns into a child. So,
Huh.
it's a problem.
So basically, the potion is like red kryptonite for him because one minute it can do this, another minute it can do that, essentially.
So,
So, I just looked up the voice cast for this.
gone.
Asterix is played by Hayden Oakley.
For the English dub
Huh.
specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm checking here. I don't recognize almost anyone in this cast. Oh no, okay, John Glover is in this as Getafix, so fair enough.
Yeah. Hayden Oakley, he was previously in the Book of Mormon, one of the original London cast,
Huh.
Neat.
as well as some other things like An American in Paris. He's mainly a musical guy. Ben Crow, who plays Obelix, Obelisk.
Obelix, yeah.
I don't know how to
Yeah,
pronounce it,
Obelix.
but there's an actor I actually do recognise.
Oh.
He's one of the British bodyguard voices in the recent Hitman trilogy.
Huh.
And now he gets to be a main star.
Catfished. I do really like, also homage to the original cover. I do really like that for this initial sequence they show the entire village fighting. And yes, we know that it happens during the classic type of brawls, but they have other to showcase all the important characters, from the village that normally you don't see fighting. It's just implied normally.
Yeah, no, I really do
no.
dig the art style of this movie. Like, it seems like pretty much the perfect marriage between, obviously 3D, but it manages to put in a lot of shots that feel
So,
2D
yeah.
ish. And
For this first
oh,
episode, we actually get to have some snippets from when Asterix and Obelix were kids.
we have never seen this before in any of the
This
movies,
was actually
so
taken
yeah.
from another story, which, as you can imagine, was appropriately the one how Obelix fell into the magic potion when he was a little boy. Yes, that's literally what it's called.
Oh, and they happen to share the same birthday.
That's that's one of the reasons why basically they're best friends. Of course, secret LA shake. Okay.
When you think about it, Asterix is kind of like Sonic Underground. Things were great when they were young, but by the time they had grown up, an evil
I mean,
conqueror came and took out
remember,
most of
They
it.
use this song, It Takes Two.
remember, Jova, the original comic was born basically in order to satirize, in a tongue-in-cheek way, the period of time where France was occupied by Nazi Germany. With the idea
True,
that
yeah.
one village resists against, the tyrant oppressor and all.
So I guess to be fair, the whole idea of a rebellion plot is a tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
Either this is the village leader back when he was
Yes.
younger, or they
Well,
had a different village leader and
I think it's still
he
without
died.
statistics.
God, he really let himself go then, apparently.
Remember, Jova, similar to Henry VIII, rich people eat meat.
Apparently, Henry VIII was doing good health wise until he got those injuries and then, stopped doing his usual stuff, but still kept eating.
I really wonder what kind of one particular editing technique or coloring they used for the magic potion, because I've never seen it look like this.
It really is interesting. I wonder if maybe they did some 2D animation and then basically folded that over a blanket to make it fit the 3D format.
Don't
Oh,
worry.
come
He's
on,
just
it'll
a
be
nobody.
fine. Look, here's the plan. We sedate him using Cleopatra. That'll keep him occupied.
Yeah, he will never catch on.
Well, speaking of that satire,
Yeah, if you don't remember, Dweebs, the salute that way was co-opted by taking quote-unquote inspiration from how the Romans did it back in the day. So you can thank, those events in order to actually, making more symbols from the past awkward in hindsight. I also love that the joke that Galafix never particularly aged, even he was already looking like this in the past.
I guess that's his trade-off. He looks old, but I guess he maintains his posture
Also,
despite
never
all the
mind.
years.
That one from before was the previous chief, while with our statistic is also a key right now.
Okay, yeah. Older kid, but still, yeah. It is interesting getting
Uh,
to see legit what the village was like before, the Romans and whatnot, since you see a village that's not as obsessed with fighting as they obviously became later.
mm-hmm.
Obelix, don't freeze.
Yeah,
Well, I guess
you
this will
know the
be perfect for
stereotype.
the lecture.
Yeah, you know the stereotypes of the traditional mushroom, super colorful red with the white dots. Yeah, that shit will kill you.
Da, 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 da.
Yes, theatrical. It's all part of the lecture. Imagine that.
Why bad to
Okay,
the bone?
I can definitely see that the series likes to use licensed
I
songs.
mean, to be fair, it is a tradition as old as the animated movie, so I get the idea we're just continuing that.
I'm seeing this now, and I've seen a couple of Illumination movies. Is this something French studios often do?
What do you mean?
I mean,
Abuse on animal?
No, have pop culture music, even in environments where it may not quite suit it.
I mean,
I mean,
I suppose, you have to remember, Dweebs, that it's something that is scattered all over the world. Don't forget about a lot of specific OVAs, not necessarily series, but also series OVAs, like the Tekken motion picture movie, that for the English dub had a bunch of heavy metal music to replace the score all over the place. And don't forget in the mid 2000s, the rise of the AMVs, Again, some people just love to put random music in random spots to simulate a situation.
like the whole pop culture or licensed songs, that is nothing exclusive to any one country of media. If anything, it was just a thing that became a trend, most notably in the 2000s. Not to say it wasn't a thing before, obviously, but before the 2000s, typically more so hit songs, came from the movies that they were made for. Whereas, by the 2000s, with, of course, Shrek essentially, that's when you started to see basically the usage of big pop songs and whatnot. Like, again, technically the Prince songs in Batman were actually made for Batman. Shrek? Nope, time to bring in All Star. And the rest was history from there. I swear, it feels like this kid's supposed to be a younger version of a character we know from the
Not that
series
I
or whatnot.
remember at the very least. It's just there to demonstrate the idea that, Asterix wants to stand for his best buddy. Obelix wishes that he could be stronger, so, he wouldn't have to worry his best buddy. You know exactly the
I
kind
see.
of beats we're going for.
I see how they play it safe by having him come from like a neighboring Gaul village so that, it's not like, oh, it was one of the characters from the village and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The child versions of Asterix and Obelix, Claire Morgan voices Asterix child, and Lizzie Waterworth voices Obelix.
Okay, apparently they took their time getting the golden sickle since now it's snowing, which implies that time has passed.
Or at the very least, when it started snowing, the rest of the day. Remember, the village is located in one of the top northern parts of France. So,
Also, I do love how the snow is animated. It makes it look like the snow is 2D.
Claire
Yeah.
Morgan's recently she was in the Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga game where she voiced young Anakin and young Boba Fett.
how
Neat.
interesting.
She was also Iris Wilson in the Great Ace Attorney duology.
Huh.
Hmm.
Oh, and
Okay, so that's
also Evan and Nino Cooney too.
I guess at this point the potion was more so something that Getafix was working on, not thinking that they need to use it that much, but.
So yeah, this version accidental is say that Obelix accidentally helped create the magic potion.
So, ironically, the potion, I guess, was originally just supposed to be good soup, but I guess if you mix in the right things together, soup gives you superpowers.
I mean, it takes two. She voiced the Cutie the elephant.
From another story, literally called the Asterix and the Golden Sequel, it is revealed that that golden sequel in particular is also vital because just the fact that things are cut with that makes the ingredient worth for the magic potion. Yes, it's very contrived.
I do like all these little throwbacks to stuff without thankfully bogging down the plot too much, essentially. Although I will say it seems like the first episode is basically just going to be an excuse for an origin episode, which, hey, I don't mind too
Again,
much.
it's for newcomers, clearly.
I will say it's interesting to consider that Obelix was literally like the human test subject for the potion while accidentally creating it as
Mm-hmm.
well. Since other stuff seemed to imply that they'd been making the potion for as long as Asterix and Obelix had been kids, but no, apparently this implies that they didn't, which, kind of makes sense since, hey, if the Romans weren't attacking at that point, they wouldn't have really had much need for a potion like that.
Here we go. And that's how Obelix fell
No.
into the potion as a kid. Did you activated the word or something? What the hell?
Holy cow.
Yeah, is that the code word, and that ain't gonna happen?
Also remember, Dweebs, that's basically the one single fear that the Gaulish village have, that their sky will fall upon their heads, apparently, that's what they say. Which, not, it doesn't actually happen, but comes close into Asterix and the Falling Sky, which, aliens, because of course.
And yes, what did you know? Obelix's parents are alive. I don't know if we've ever seen them in the comics, but the movies led me to believe that Asterix and Obelix were kind of orphans and they just had
It
each
wasn't ever
other.
particularly important because by the time their stories takes place, they're in their 30s, 40s, so it is easy to assume that their parents, were deceased in one way or another.
Possibly, given how life expectancy was back in the day.
So
So
yeah,
this
one
is
one reason why Obelix, has his hypermetabolism is a side effect also of the magic potion.
Bloody hell, it's going to eat all the food in the village.
he's still eating that same day. This
Surely,
shows an eating disorder, especially if you're a wild
wild
boar.
boar
Please visit
danger.
wildboardanger.com for help and support.
What the hell?
Okay, that last bit there where he was worried that where he was like, oh, I had a little bit of time left there actually.
Yeah, I can tell. For example, there's no seems to be
You're gonna kill him.
some of us no seems to be animated in similar to how stop motion is done at oh Jesus, for stuff like Wallace and Gromit. I noticed.
Interesting. A mixture of 3D and
I guess they
maybe
just
some
replicate. Yeah,
claymation.
maybe they replicated the effect using CGI, but still, it's actually it really fascinates me the way they animated this. It really strikes as different compared to the other two CG animated movies, and those were not even badly animated. They were, good in their own right. So
Yeah, this movie feels like it's combining little bits of 2D while mostly having a base of 3D, but yeah, maybe even simulating stop motion stuff, which is not unheard of. Aardman basically had to simulate claymation for Flushed Away.
because of meddling stuff from DreamWorks. There you go. Um, Obelix invented Dolmen.
Okay. And no one will ever know. All right. Well, you know this usual part in superhero origins. No, no, no. Let him have it.
There you go.
Yeah, just giving him what he wanted. Oh,
I
And
also
meanwhile, Getafix going, oh god, I've created a monster.
There was a nice touch that during the handshake, it showcased that the bond between Asterix and Obelix is so tight that with the handshake, Obelix manages to control his strength.
Now, this is definitely a bit of a retcon since I do recall there have been a few plots that revolve around needing to know the secret recipe for the magic potion, and like this implies that Asterix and Obelix should know. Like, okay, Obelix, I can maybe get him having a faulty memory and not remembering all the specifics, but Asterix is usually pretty clever like that, so. Eh.
It's also worth
Although,
noting that this is consistent with what was showcased in the Druid Council in the story Asterix and the Goths, because that is one of the reunion that the Druids of Gaul tend to have from time to time, and Getafix presents his magic potion there, and nobody knew about, of the Druids knew about it until that point.
hmm.
Damn well lucky.
So, congratulations, Get a Fix. You have created steroids.
Using lobsters, strawberries, and a single four-leaf clover. I'm sure there's a
Has any?
metaphor for something.
I'm curious if anyone's actually tried this recipe in real life after seeing this, just to see if it legit works.
I mean, if people, are not gonna stop trying to create sea salt ice cream from Kingdom Hearts,
How has nobody succeeded at that yet, I
Maybe
wonder?
because it's sea salt ice cream, something that you shouldn't consume.
But Tio, surely we have the technology. I think this is the only time we've ever seen Getafix actually under the effects of
Mostly
the
because,
potion.
he does. First of, yeah, he did get only a tip, so of course the effect for him was very small, and he prefers to just stay in the sidelines to distribute it rather than participating himself. It's also consistent to some level of cultural value where druids, were not necessarily pacifist, but did not want to intervene directly into a conflict. It's not consistent, obviously.
So I do like the contrast that back then, supposedly the village was wiser, but I get the implication that apparently once they got the potion, they didn't handle things as wisely as much as they did things the easy way.
Whoops.
This is a town on drugs and in
Literally.
withdrawal.
Yeah, get a fix is having the I made a terrible mistake face. Oh, not the trick complete. Yeah.
Oh
And now
dear.
the chickens got the magic potion.
I guess that's a joke for the adults.
Sure.
Yeah. I do kind of get his frustration. Like, it's an amazing thing to use, but clearly, Village went into a frenzy over it.
Interesting
Okay, that's a
transition.
cute little transition. Yep, and now the town basically uses it so much that it might as well be commonplace for them.
Mostly because they have no other choice. And yeah, that's episode 1. Pretty
Oh,
neat tight and all.
hold on. Oh, right. I get it. There's
Netflix
probably a ton
drama.
of.
Yes,
Yeah, so long credits.
foreign dubs and all. Alright, so Jova, your final thoughts, please.
This was a good start, honestly. It's something new and unique, essentially. I mean, I'll admit I haven't read the original Big Fight story and whatnot, but hey, it's different from the original Big Fight movie so far. I mean, okay, to be fair, this episode seemed like basically an origin story, so hey, you know what? If they just call this series The Big Fight, but each episode is like, an adaptation of these smaller stories cling together into a bigger narrative, I think it could work. This one's a good first showcasing, it was good, it's funny. It's an interesting take on the origin of both Obelix's status and the secrets of the magic potion. That said, I do have to raise my eyebrow at any plots that revolve around Asterix and Obelix apparently not knowing the recipe, but to be fair, this thing is, I think, its own continuity. Like, as far as I can tell, they're not trying to connect this with any of the older movies anyway, so who knows? This could be the start of its own continuity, essentially, which overall works, so long as no later episodes suddenly have any drama around Asterix not knowing the secret of the magic potion. But yeah, no, I don't even mind the usage of the pop license songs or whatnot. I feel like they were well enough fine. The original music itself is good here. What I do love the most is the animation. Like it's clearly done on a bit of a limited budget, but get this, they mask it by stylizing the heck out of it and in a way that works with some 2D there, 3D there, and something that seems to be imitating stop motion. Good stuff, great start.
Bibs,
Bibs.
your thoughts, please.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. The English version's a pretty solid dubbing experience.
Mm-hmm.
Again, since I prefer watching these kind of things in English. And
Same.
hey, it's nice to see. I think for the first time, at least to me, how this whole thing with the magic potion came into being. It was by complete accident.
And I guess Obelix technically created it. Good job, Obelix.
Well done. But now it means you can never have any more.
It honestly might be for the best because we've seen now why they try to limit usage of that magic potion. It's not because of lack of supplies, but, well,
The
the
ingredients.
village tend to become...
Not just that, Rob. I remember a good chunk of the stories, not all of them, but let's say 2/3 of the stories, revolve around Asterix and Obelix having to travel to a foreign location to locate one of the ingredients that is necessary because it has just run out and the village needs it.
That too, yeah. So you gotta love the irony. At first, they limited it due to the fact that the villagers were addicts, but shoot, thanks to the Romans, they do have to constantly use that potion.
If anything, it's a good showcase how grim things have become, a sad state of affairs, desperate times.
Just to remind you that behind all that humor, this is kind of a dark story when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, Libs?
Nah.
Okay. As for me, no, yeah, this is pretty good actually. I really, really like the way this is animated. It's mentioned in a couple of places where I found at least speculation is that it's yet another case of animation that wants to follow the more stylized stuff from the Into the Spider-Verse, movies, and I can understand they can see things behind, but still, I believe that the things that they do on their own to animate some of the stuff is pretty unique, especially also the way the movie is colored. This is much more colorful than the comic, which is already pretty colorful in its own right, and it gives such a warm feeling to it, very welcoming. No, really, this is just a very good series for newcomers of the franchise, even if you haven't seen Mention of the Gods or The Secret of the Magic Potion. So no, at least for now, this is easily recommended. I can tell you that. But hey, that's
All
pretty
right,
much
then.
it for episode one. Enjoy the rest of the credits for the Netflix version, which they usually credits foreign language dubs. So tune in next time for episode two. Again, no fancy titles. See ya.
See you
Yeah.
then.